Did Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns hate each other? Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns are two polarizing figures, where one has no regard for what the world thinks of him, while the other seeks acknowledgement. The two giants of the pro wrestling industry who redefined what it is like to be the most illustrious faces of the company have also made countless rivals along the way. Brock Lesnar, who has been away from the company for a while now, dished out one pro wrestling masterclass after the other, showcasing his crazy strength and brute force. Roman Reigns, the man who started as the silent muscle of the Shield, has evolved individually and is now the original tribal chief, making fans go gaga every time he walks down the ramp for a battle. Do Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns hate each other in real life? The Beast incarnate and Roman Reigns have shared a prolonged rivalry in the ring. Now, one might think from the sheer brutality of the fights that these two need to have a real-life beef in order for them to go all guns blazing on their counterparts. It all started for the two back in WrestleMania 31, where the two were involved in a mind-blowing exchange of haymakers and finishers. Much to their chagrin, it was Seth Rollins who cashed in his Money in the Bank contract and walked away with the title. However, that wasn't the end of it all between the two powerhouses. From Fastlane 2016 to SummerSlam 2022, these two have shared their moments, and neither of them was willing to back down until the last atom in their bodies breathed. Now, coming to the entire wrestling world, it goes without saying that kayfabe is all about storytelling and making people believe the story arcs that we get to witness ahead of us. Of course, if one has a heated rivalry behind the scenes, that is an extra tank of fuel which can be included in the ring. But it does not necessarily pan out at all times. One of the key elements of WWE is that when two wrestlers are battling it out, they aren't against each other in real life. That is because it is work, and in work in the squared circle, there are moves which need to be done in collaboration between the two. For example, if Roman Reigns hits a Superman punch, Brock Lesnar will have to sell it, and vice versa. When Lesnar hits a suplex on Roman, he needs to take the pain on the back of a massive landing from such a height. If any of these go wrong, then it can lead to injuries. Given the proficient wrestlers that Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar are, they simply amplify the in-ring flair. However, so far there is no concrete proof of any real-life beef between the two. They are just amazing at what they do, and that seals it all. In fact, the 2016 SummerSlam match between Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton saw the latter being busted open as he conceded defeat by TKO. Of course, there were questions about whether that is proof of how much Brock hated the legend killer. However, later Randy Orton confirmed that it was a planned ending and he was willing to take a concussion for the sake of the storyline. That is exactly how Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar sell their matches, making the fans believe that if given a chance, the two would tear each other apart, but in reality, they are simply two excellent professionals doing their job. Now, of course, a potential alliance between Roman Reigns and CM Punk can be a brilliant story, and a consequent war between the two will be an absolute blockbuster. However, the problem is that there was a new inclusion to the entire saga, where Sami Zayn was brutalized on Monday Night Raw, and that might lead to a potential six-man tag team match if this entire storyline continues.